Power window problem. The door glass is not moving properly. Sometimes it moves very slowly, sometimes it gets stuck, and sometimes it doesn't respond when the switch is pressed. Instead of replacing parts immediately, we'll diagnose the system step by step to find the real fault. Every successful repair starts with a proper inspection. Before removing anything, we test the window from the driver's switch and the door switch. We listen carefully for any sound from the motor. If there is no sound, the problem may be electrical. If the motor runs but the glass doesn't move, the regulator or mechanical parts may be damaged. For safety, we switch off the ignition and disconnect the negative battery terminal. This protects the electrical system while we work. Now we remove the inside door panel. Every screw is removed carefully, and the plastic clips are released without breaking them. The electrical connectors for the window switch and door lock are disconnected, and the trim panel is placed in a safe location. With the door open, we begin inspecting the wiring harness. We look for broken wires, damaged insulation, loose connectors, corrosion, or signs of water entering the door. The rubber boot between the door and the body is a common place for wires to break because they bend every time the door opens and closes. The window switch using a multimeter. We check that the switch sends power correctly in both the up and down positions. If the switch fails the test, it is replaced with a new one. Now we inspect the fuse and relay for the power window system. A blown fuse or faulty relay can stop the entire system from working. We replace any damaged electrical components before continuing. Testing the power window motor. We disconnect the motor connector and apply power directly from the battery. If the motor runs smoothly, it is in good condition. If it is weak, noisy, or completely dead, it must be replaced. Now we inspect the window regulator. This mechanism lifts and lowers the glass. We check the cables, rollers, gears, and guide rails for damage. In many cases, a broken cable or worn gear is the real reason the glass will not move. The glass itself is also inspected for cracks or damage. We make sure it sits correctly in the guide channels. Misalignment can cause the glass to jam and overload the motor. Before installing new parts, we clean the window tracks thoroughly. Dirt, dust, and old grease increase friction and make the motor work harder. Fresh lubricant is applied to all moving parts so the glass can travel smoothly. If the regulator is damaged, we remove it carefully and install a new assembly. Every mounting bolt is tightened to the correct specification. The motor is then attached securely to the regulator. Now we reconnect the wiring and temporarily reconnect the battery. Before reinstalling the door panel, we test the complete system. The glass moves smoothly from fully closed to fully open. We repeat the test several times to ensure consistent performance. Everything is now working correctly. We disconnect the battery one final time, reinstall the moisture barrier, reconnect all electrical connectors, and carefully refit the door panel. Every screw and clip is secured to prevent rattles. This repair shows the importance of diagnosing the problem before replacing parts. Careful inspection of the wiring, switch, fuse, relay, motor, regulator, and glass can save both time and money while ensuring a reliable repair. Wiring. Since this is an older vehicle, we inspect every wire for cracked insulation, corrosion, loose terminals, and broken connections. The wiring near the door hinge is checked carefully because constant movement often causes wires to break in this area. Next, we inspect the fuse and relay. A damaged fuse or faulty relay can stop power from reaching the window motor. We test each one and replace any faulty components. Now we test the window switch using a multimeter. Years of use can wear out the internal contacts, causing poor electrical connection. If the switch fails the test, we install a new one. The next component is the old window motor. We disconnect the motor and apply power directly from the battery. The motor turns slowly and makes unusual noise, showing that it is worn after years of service. If necessary, we replace it with a new motor. Now we inspect the old window regulator. We check the gears, cables, rollers, and guide rails for wear and damage. Old grease has become dry and hard, making the mechanism difficult to move. The regulator is cleaned, lubricated, and replaced if it is beyond repair. We also inspect the window glass and guide channels. Dirt and dust have collected over time, increasing friction. After cleaning the channels and applying fresh lubricant, the glass moves much more smoothly. All electrical connectors are cleaned with contact cleaner to remove corrosion and improve electrical flow. Every ground connection is tightened to ensure a reliable circuit. Now we reconnect the wiring and test the complete system before reinstalling the door panel. The glass moves up and down smoothly without sticking or making unusual noises. Finally, we reinstall the moisture barrier, reconnect every electrical connector, and fit the door panel back into place. All screws and clips are tightened securely. The repair is complete. The old door glass machine is now working like new after a full inspection of the wiring, damage, loose wiring, worn components, or mechanical issues. After identifying the problem, the necessary repairs are completed, all connections are tightened, and the motor is tested to ensure smooth operation. Finally, the motor is reinstalled into the machine, aligned correctly, securely fastened, and a final performance test confirms that the machine is running safely and efficiently. Battery. Before reinstalling the door panel, we test the complete system. The glass moves smoothly from fully closed to fully open. We repeat the test several times to ensure consistent performance. Everything is now working correctly. We disconnect the battery one final time, reinstall the moisture barrier, reconnect all electrical connectors, and carefully refit the door panel. Every screw and clip is secured to prevent rattles. This repair shows the importance of diagnosing the problem before replacing parts. Now that all the faulty parts have been inspected and repaired, it's time to reinstall the power window system. First, we position the power window motor back onto the window regulator. The mounting bolts are installed and tightened securely to the manufacturer's specifications. We reconnect the motor's electrical connector and make sure the wiring harness is routed correctly, so it won't rub against any moving parts. Next, we carefully reinstall the door glass into the guide channels. The glass is lowered into position slowly to avoid scratches or damage. Once aligned with the regulator, we tighten the glass mounting bolts and check that it moves freely inside the tracks. Now we install the power window switch button back into the door panel. The electrical connector is plugged in firmly, ensuring a secure connection with no loose terminals. Before closing the door panel, we reconnect the battery and perform a complete function test. We press the switch to lower and raise the glass several times. The motor runs smoothly, the glass moves quietly, and the window opens and closes without sticking. With everything working correctly, we reinstall the moisture barrier and refit the interior door panel. All clips and screws are secured tightly for a clean, factory-style finish. The repair is now complete. The motor, window switch, and door glass have been successfully reinstalled, and the power window system is operating smoothly and reliably once again. If you enjoyed this repair video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Press the bell icon to stay updated with more workshop repair and restoration videos. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next project.